Recently, the FNaF movie trailer dropped and showed us a lot of everything. A lot of Mike, a lot of animatronics, and a hell of a lot more story. But I'm not here to do a frame by frame or even count all the Easter eggs for you. If you're looking for that, you've come to the wrong place. But I'd highly recommend you check out FNaF's video, Dawko's video, 8-Bit Ryan's, whatever. Anyway, the purpose of this video is to interpret the trailer into what I think the main story of the film is going to be, as well as discuss a potential sequel, because ladies and gents, I think the final scene is in this trailer. So let's get started. The trailer starts out by giving us a general idea of why our main character, Mike Schmidt, has been hired to work at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It seems that he needs the money to keep a stable life for him and his little sister Abby, although the reasoning behind this is still mostly unknown. We do see he gets something called a notice of delinquency. For those who don't know, a notice of delinquency is a notice that essentially you have an overdue payment towards a financial obligation. In many cases, this is related to child support payments, but I'm not really sure that would be applicable given that Mike is taking care of his younger sister, presumably by himself. What's most important at the beginning here, however, is that the person that Mike calls to ask about a job is William Afton, although he's going by the name Steve Raglan as a career counselor. This is pretty important, given that we know Lillard isn't playing a Raglan, he's playing Afton, which means that Afton must be in disguise. Just dog-ear that for now. What's also interesting is that we get confirmation here from Afton that Freddy's was closed down some time ago and it was huge in the 80s. We'll talk a little more about this statement later because I do think it's going to be important. Anyway, one line William says here that intrigues me is that the owner's not ready to let it go yet. This is really interesting given that by all accounts William Afton should be the owner of it, but if he's in disguise, who's owning it and why are they holding on to this closed down pizzeria? Dog-ear that as well. Moving on, Mike brings Abby to the pizzeria. It's not clear why he did this, but I will point out she has a stuffed teddy bear, so that's cool. Also worth pointing out, Abby has a bundle of blankets in her arm, which to me means this was planned out by Mike and Abby, rather than Abby being a stowaway in Mike's car or something. So why is she here with him? Next up, we see Mike get situated for the night, and Vanessa arrives. Vanessa fills Mike in on the background of Freddy's, but not yet. First we see Mike fall asleep at his desk, a poster that says Nebraska on it, always the hip place for criminals to hide out and assume a new identity, and then Mike has to shut the power down. It's here that Vanessa fills Mike in on the missing children's incident, emphasizing that the bodies were never found. Interestingly enough, she only explains this after a costume change. Costume changes in cinema are important. Although they might seem pretty innocuous, the image of Vanessa outside of her more formal police gear tells us this is probably her being the most truthful, since she's not wearing an authoritative police badge. Just something I felt like pointing out. While Vanessa explains this, we see this group who seem to be breaking into Freddy's, including Hank, played by Christian Stokes, who has been like everyone on Twitter's favorite actor and character from this movie. He's so cool. We see Hank specifically get attacked by Bonnie in the supply closet, and then Mike in what appears to be a dream sequence of some time facing the ghost kids, including this one with a foxy hook for a hand. Also, the whole Vanessa not in her uniform thing is how I know when Mike says thanks for the heads up, it's not him saying thanks for the warning about the haunted robots. I imagine in the actual film, he's not going to be so nonchalant about that little detail. After that little exchange, we get a montage of spooky animatronic stuff, and Vanessa explains what the animatronics want. They want to make Abby like them. This is different. Worth talking about. Dog-ear that as well. In the final parts of this trailer, we hear Vanessa say it's too late, and Afton humming the Toreador March, while what appears to be Spring Bonnie marches towards the camera. We get one shot of a kid named Garrett being driven away looking out the back window of a car, away from Mike. A scene of Vanessa in the hospital, Mike wailing on a guy in a fountain, and the money shot that is Springtrap, hallelujah. In the final scene after the title card, we see Corey Kenshin driving a taxi with Abby, smiling, and what appears to be either Freddy or Golden Freddy. I'm of the opinion that this is Freddy, but Twitter seems convinced this is Golden Freddy. I guess time will tell, but you know, if this is Golden Freddy, I personally think they should have made him yellow. This burnt orange brown does not suit a character whose original name was Yellow Bear. Anyway, I had to briefly go over the trailer to give you what I think the movie is going to be like, because I think I have it figured out. And let me warn you, I don't think things are going to end well, so let me explain. I think first of all, there's going to be a cold open. While at first I was convinced that the cold open would be the first night guard dying, I don't think that's the whole story. Do I think it's part of it? Yes, but I don't think it's the full story in and of itself. First off, I think we're going to establish Mike as a kid. The movie will probably begin with Freddy's at its peak of popularity and entertainment, with kids frolicking and all of that. But then we're going to see something different go down. You see, Mike Schmidt doesn't seem to know what Freddy's is. The way he interacts with the characters and with William makes it seem like he doesn't know what it's all actually about. Except, Scott apparently wanted his main character to have a personal connection to Freddy's if his old Reddit post on the matter can be trusted. I think Mike doesn't remember, but he's been here before. Maybe with a different set of mascots? I think when we see young Mike, it's going to be at Fredbear's Family Diner, where he sees something he shouldn't have. The luring and disappearance of Garrett, the child in the car. It seems to be driving through the same woods Mike was standing in, but I can't be certain. Regardless of that, the true opening of the movie, I wager, is the scene with the scrappers, let's call them. I think these folks are scrappers for a couple of reasons. First off, Hank is carrying a bat. He's not looking to play nicely. Second, they arrived with a pickup truck and a motorcycle. As everyone knows, motorcycles are for movie bad guys, so keep that in mind. Anyway, I believe that this scene will involve the scrappers and the security guard who we've seen before. I think what we're going to see is this guard respond to the scrappers breaking in, but then all the scrappers and the guard get jumped and killed by various animatronics. This creates the job opening for Michael to take. However, I think this is all part of an elaborate plot. Clearly, Afton knows much more than he's letting on. I think he set up the guard and scrappers to die via animatronics. He probably told those scrappers where to get some sweet robot parts, only to then be brutally murdered, and the guard going down with them. This creates the opportunity for Mike to take the job. Why? Well, I don't think it's just Mike that Afton wants to be at the pizza place. He wants them both there, to wipe the slate clean. Afton wants Mike and Abby both to die. That's why he gets Mike hired there in the first place. He wants Mike and Abby to both get killed by the animatronics, with Abby specifically becoming like them. What does this mean though? Well, we haven't actually seen an animatronic for Abby to possess yet, but I think we'll find out. But once Mike is there, Afton will be in waiting. If the robots can't do it, he'd just do it himself. He dons the withering spring Bonnie outfit he used all those years ago to finish the job. Why does he want to kill Mike and Abby? Because when Mike was young, he saw something he shouldn't have. I think the reason William is targeting Mike is because Mike would be the last witness to his crime. Why Abby then? Well, maybe Abby is just another loose end, or maybe there's something to that whole baby anagram thing. I don't think we'd actually see Circus Baby in this movie, but I do think most likely this movie will end with Abby, accompanied by Freddy, to be taken somewhere to become Circus Baby. When Vanessa yells "it's too late," I imagine that's her being afraid because Abby is too far gone, maybe possessed by a spirit herself. But then this begs the question, what am I missing? Well, I still don't know who Mary Stuart Masterson will be playing, but personally, I do think it's possible that she's playing the current Freddy's owner, who maybe doesn't want the animatronics destroyed for one reason or another, which would indirectly make her an antagonist. Then there's the question of why Vanessa? It doesn't seem like she'll be going Vanny on us in this movie, so why is she there? But the biggest question on my mind right now is, what about Mike? Is Mike Schmidt Michael Afton? Or is he someone else, just a nobody in a bad spot? In my opinion, it makes the most sense that Mike Schmidt, at least in this movie, is not Michael Afton, but someone who has a deep personal connection to the missing children's incident. Maybe seeing Garrett be taken is the guilt that Mike feels all these years later, not being able to get over how he stood idly by and let it happen. That's my idea anyway. I just don't see any indication of a bite story of any kind, which is what I know a lot of people are betting Mike's trauma will be. I also think that this ghost scene, when played in its entirety, may end up being the most important scene of the movie. This will probably be the mask-off moment when Michael confronts or is confronted by the actual spirits tormenting him and his sister. All in all, I'm looking forward to the FNaF movie. I honestly believe it's going to be a fun time, although at this point, I would warn people not to use it as any sort of lore fest. Scott has previously said he wants to avoid making the movie a visual encyclopedia, which to me probably means we're gonna have to just take this movie as it is and not look too deep into it. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. These are just my predictions. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.